Memory really is a really fascinating cognitive process. And by leveraging our existing knowledge networks, we're able to optimize memory encoding, retention, and retrieval. So let's take a look at some of the neuroscience behind this technique and how we can actually bring it into our memory performance as well. So first of all, let's talk about the role of prior knowledge and schemas. So our brains are not an island, they don't they're not just sitting there all by themselves with nothing around them. Our brains are interconnected to everything else that's going on, and we're still even now discovering just how interconnected they are. But your brain thrives on connections. It thrives on association. And prior knowledge, when I say prior knowledge, I really mean the information and the experiences that we've accumulated throughout our lives up until this point. And when we come into contact with new knowledge or new information, the way that we bring that into our brain and the way that we encode that in our brain is through one of two processes, either the assimilation of knowledge or the accommodation of knowledge. And the assimilation of knowledge is when we encounter new information or we encounter a new idea and we need it to fit into our idea of what we already know. So this is where we're going to just be filling up our existing containers of knowledge, right? Accommodation is different. Accommodation of knowledge is more substantial, and it requires you to actually reshape those containers. So it actually changes how you think of that concept or that information. And so assimilation is filling up the container, and accommodation is changing the shape of the container to fit the new knowledge. And so we can think of those containers as schema, right? Think of those as schemas. These are our mental frameworks that organize and structure our knowledge, and they provide us with a context of understanding the world around us. So how can we leverage our prior knowledge and schemas to enhance memory? Well, the first thing is making connections, to really create that neurological pathway. And when we link new information to existing knowledge, we create neural connections in our brain. This is synaptic plasticity, which strengthens those neural networks associated with memory. So the goal here really is to make as many connections as possible. So when we build that bridge, think of it as a thin little rope that goes across, and as we build new ones, it gets stronger and stronger and stronger. And that's the more robust our memory becomes with every single little strand that we put across. So how can we effectively make connections between new information and prior knowledge? Well, you need to start off by asking yourself, well, how do you currently connect new information to what you already know? What are you doing already? Do you have techniques? Do you know whether you want to assimilate or accommodate this knowledge? What are you doing to connect that information? Are you journaling? Are you brainstorming? Are you mind mapping? What are you doing? Are you actively seeking out related concepts or drawing parallels between different subjects? Is that something that you do? If not, start. It's the easiest way to start. The next one is creating associations to build those bridges of memory. But let's take it a step further. Let's talk about creating meaningful associations, because associations, these are the bridges that connect new information to our existing knowledge. And so we want it to mean something. We want these associations to be connected, hopefully, to something personal to us, something that we know, we understand, that is meaningful, might be emotional. And when we consciously seek out these connections and we establish meaningful associations, it's going to help your memory encoding and your retrieval. So the question is, how do we build those strong associations to improve memory performance? And remember, your hippocampus, which is really vital for memory formation, it plays a key role in creating these associations. So try to employ those mnemonic techniques like creating vivid mental images or using those acronyms, but connect them to something that are familiar to you. Connect them to something that are meaningful to you so that we can forge these stronger neural connections so that we can facilitate better memory retrieval as well. And the way that we do that is we do that by utilizing our existing schemas, utilizing that cognitive framework that we've got there as well, because that helps us to organize and to structure information. And later on down the track, it also helps us to create shared mental models if we're trying to help other people remember things as well. So when we fit that knowledge into existing schemas, either through assimilation or accommodation, this is where we enhance memory encoding, and this is where we get better at retrieving that information as well. So how can we effectively utilize schemas to optimize memory performance? That's the question that we really want to ask. And you want to start off by deciding whether this is information that needs to replace existing information, and that might be when we're trying to replace negative behaviors with positive behaviors, biases with things that make us more open-minded, or do we need to bring that in, and do we need to just top up our existing knowledge as well? And that might be if you want to become a specialist in an area. So let's think of it in terms of a doctor. A doctor might go and do their undergraduate degrees and their postgraduate MD, but then they might want to go and specialize in something. And so they don't want to delete all of the or reshape all of the information that they know. They just want to top up that container. They just want to tap into that existing schema as well. So linking new information to prior knowledge and understanding how it fits into our existing schemas, this helps us to really boost up our memory encoding. This helps us to get a deeper understanding of what we need this information for. It helps us to break down complex concepts into ways that we can understand them and to establish these meaningful connections and associations, because that also allows us a broader perspective to make more insightful connections by being able to approach things from different perspectives. And you know what else it does? It helps us to solve problems a lot easier. These day-to-day problems and also these tough problems. When we're able to draw upon these prior knowledge because we've got these well-constructed schemas, we solve problems a lot easier because we actually approach tasks with a much broader range of strategies. So because we're able to apply our knowledge from different domains and think creatively when we're faced with challenges. So it's really, and I know I say this all the time, but it's so fascinating, these things that are happening inside our brains. And the thing that I find truly fascinating with them is it's up to us. The control is ours. If you want to have a great memory, go and build yourself a great memory. You need to understand the neuroscience. You need to be able to harness the power of connections, and you need to be able to do things, proactively do things to optimize performance and to deepen your understanding of the world around you as well. So go out there and seek connections and create those meaningful associations and leverage your schemas, and know if you're accommodating or assimilating the information the new information, so that you've got better encoding, better retention, better retrieval. That's all for today. See you soon. Bye now.